The moment you visualize yourself crossing the finish line of your grandest ambition, your brain chemically surrenders, registering that triumph as a completed historical fact rather than a future challenge. Your heart rate slows, your blood pressure drops, and the neurological spark required to actually get off the couch evaporates entirely. You have literally fantasized your way into stagnation. It feels like motivation, but under a neuroimaging scan, it looks identical to giving up. We are going to dissect the precise neurobiological mechanism that turns your brightest dreams into productivity poison. You will understand how purely positive visualization acts as a systemic anesthetic on your drive, and more importantly, how to deploy a cognitive protocol that rewires your brain to treat obstacles as direct neural commands for action. Let us look at what actually happens inside the cerebral cortex when you close your eyes and imagine your dream life. Many popular self-help movements tell you that focusing exclusively on a bright, successful future is the key to unlocking your potential. It is a beautiful lie. The human brain is an incredibly sophisticated prediction machine designed to conserve energy above all else. When you indulge in pure, unadulterated positive visualization, you are feeding your prefrontal cortex a highly detailed simulation of success. The brain, which struggles to distinguish between a vividly imagined scenario and physical reality, receives this simulation and assumes the goal has already been achieved. This triggers a fascinating physical response. In a landmark study conducted by researcher Gabrielle Ettingen in the year 2002, participants who engaged in positive fantasies about their future exhibited a significant drop in systolic blood pressure. Why does this matter? Systolic blood pressure is the primary physiological marker of somatic energy mobilization. It is the physical metric of your body gearing up to take action, to fight, to run, to build. When you visualize a flawless victory, your blood pressure falls, indicating that your biological system has switched from a state of active pursuit to a state of passive relaxation. Your body literally goes to sleep on your ambitions because your brain thinks the hunt is already over. To understand this, we have to look at the tension between two primary neural circuits, the default mode network and the task positive network. When you are daydreaming about your future mansion, your perfect career, or your completed book, you are heavily activating your default mode network. This network is fantastic for creative associations, but it is highly correlated with a state of passive introspection. Physical execution, however, requires the task positive network. By keeping yourself locked in a loop of positive fantasies, you are actively preventing your brain from switching into the task positive network, which is required to actually sit down and write, code, or build. Think of your brain's motivational drive like a highly pressurized hydraulic system. The pressure is generated by the gap between where you are right now and where you want to be. When you visualize only the positive outcome, you open a release valve, letting all that cognitive pressure escape into the air. You get a cheap, fleeting hit of dopamine, but you lose the torque required to turn the gears of real progress. Think about your own mornings. How many times have you mapped out a perfect day in your head, felt a rush of inspiration, and then spent the next 4 hours scrolling on your phone? It is not a lack of willpower, it is a direct consequence of a biologically deflated drive. The biological reality is that your brain does not mobilize resources for things it believes it has already secured. To build real, unstoppable momentum, we must look at how the brain actually processes effort and reward. This brings us to a critical inflection point in human performance. This is where everything changes. If positive thinking relaxes you into a state of useless complacency, then the secret to unlocking raw, animalistic drive is not to eliminate the positive, but to violently crash it into reality. This is the science of mental contrasting. In a second groundbreaking study by Gabrielle Ettingen, published in the year 2001, researchers compared individuals who only visualized positive outcomes with those who practiced mental contrasting. Mental contrasting is the cognitive process of visualizing your grand wish and then immediately and vividly visualizing the specific, messy, difficult obstacles that stand in your way. The results were staggering. When participants contrasted their wishes with their real-world obstacles, they experienced a sudden, dramatic spike in systolic blood pressure. Their brains did not relax. Instead, the brain's salience network lit up like a Christmas tree. By placing the dream directly next to the obstacle, the prefrontal cortex suddenly realized, wait, we are not there yet. This creates a state of cognitive dissonance, a painful but highly productive neural tension. The brain recognizes the gap between the current reality and the desired future, and it immediately mobilizes dopamine and norepinephrine to bridge that gap. Stop dreaming. Let us tear down the most toxic productivity myth of the modern era. Vision boards do not build empires. They build incredibly comfortable mental prisons. When you look at a vision board filled with pristine beaches, luxury vehicles, and stacks of wealth, your brain treats those images as accomplishments you have already secured. You walk away from that board feeling satisfied, relaxed, and utterly unprepared for the grueling, repetitive work required to actually achieve those things. This cognitive clash centers around a structure known as the anterior cingulate cortex. The anterior cingulate cortex is responsible for detecting errors and monitoring conflict. When you practice mental contrasting, you create a stark conflict between your desired future and your current reality. This activates the anterior cingulate cortex, which then signals to the locus coeruleus to release norepinephrine, increasing your physical arousal and alertness. It is a biological alarm clock telling your body that action is required. Compare two distinct individuals. The first is a pure positive thinker. They wake up, imagine their business succeeding, feel a warm glow of satisfaction, and then open their laptop. The moment they encounter a complex spreadsheet or an angry email, their relaxed nervous system experiences this obstacle as a shocking, painful disruption. They immediately retreat to social media to restore that warm, comfortable feeling. The second individual uses mental contrasting. They visualize their business succeeding, but they immediately follow that image with a vivid, detailed visualization of the agonizingly long hours, the complex code they do not understand, and the potential client rejections. Their systolic blood pressure rises. Their brain is primed for battle. When they open their laptop and encounter the exact same difficult spreadsheet, their brain does not panic. It recognizes the obstacle as the precise pathway it already mapped out. They dive into the work with a calm, aggressive focus, completing their tasks at double the speed of the dreamer. To put this neuroscience into immediate action, you must replace passive wishing with structured, friction-based protocols. Here are 3 highly specific, brain-based techniques you can deploy starting today. First, implement the double contrast blueprint every morning. Allocate exactly 10 minutes immediately after you wake up. For the first 5 minutes, identify one primary professional goal for your day and visualize the absolute best-case outcome of achieving it. Let yourself feel the satisfaction. But then, for the next 5 minutes, immediately pivot. Identify the absolute largest internal obstacle, whether that is your tendency to procrastinate at noon, your fear of making a difficult phone call, or your habit of getting distracted by notifications. Visualize this obstacle in intense detail. See yourself struggling with it. This immediate pairing of wish and obstacle activates the prefrontal amygdala pathway, raising your physiological readiness and preparing your executive networks to handle the friction of the real world before you even touch your keyboard. Second, construct the if-then neurolink before you begin any major deep work block. This technique relies on the pioneering work of Peter Gallwitzer in the year 1999 on implementation intentions. Before you start working, write down a single, highly specific contingency plan. For example, if I feel the urge to open a new browser tab to check the news, then I will immediately close my eyes and take 3 slow, deep breaths. By writing this down, you are creating an artificial synaptic link in your basal ganglia. You bypass the need for conscious, depleting willpower. When the obstacle inevitably arises, your brain does not need to make a decision. It simply executes the pre-programmed reflex, keeping your focus completely intact. Third, practice the 90-minute dopamine horizon calibration. Every 90 minutes during your workday, pause for exactly 60 seconds. Instead of celebrating what you have done or dreaming about the final product, consciously look at the distance remaining between your current state and your daily target. Acknowledge the friction. Tell yourself, we are only halfway there and the next 45 minutes will require absolute focus. This deliberate acknowledgement of the ongoing struggle prevents your brain from releasing a premature wave of dopamine that would cause your focus to crash. It maintains your tonic dopamine levels, ensuring a steady, reliable stream of drive that lasts throughout your entire afternoon. Take a deep breath and look at your current project. Are you secretly using the mental image of your finished work to escape the discomfort of actually doing it? There is a profound realization that comes when you stop fighting your biology and start working with it. You are not lazy. You never were. You were simply using a map that was upside down. You were trying to drive your biology with a fuel that was meant for celebration, not for excavation. When you realize that your brain actually thrives on friction, everything changes. You no longer view the discomfort of a difficult task as a sign that you are doing something wrong. You realize that cognitive friction is the sound of the engine engaging. It is the feeling of neural plasticity in action. You are no longer a passive passenger waiting for the perfect, comfortable wave of inspiration to wash over you. You are an engineer of your own attention, someone who understands that the obstacle is not in the way, the obstacle is the raw material from which focus is manufactured. Now that you possess the precise biological blueprint of drive, the era of comfortable complacency is over. Apply the mental contrasting protocol immediately to your most difficult target today. Prime your brain for the struggle, fuel your focus with real cognitive tension, and watch your execution transform. But do not stop here. Your cognitive optimization has only just begun. There is an even more profound, counterintuitive mechanism hidden deep within your neural circuitry, a hidden biological clock that dictates how your brain processes time itself. Mastering this hidden clock is the ultimate differentiator between those who struggle for every inch of progress and those who bend time to their will. We will uncover that exact neural architecture very soon. Stay focused.